Today we're watching Melissa McLaren ride a new young stallion that we have in for training. His name is Barcita. He's a 4-year-old Lusitano stallion and he's been here about 4 days. He was started under tack a couple of months ago, but he's new to us. So I thought I would go over today when I'm looking at a young horse and we're starting to make a plan for a young horse, where they are and what they need to do and where they need to go. My big priorities when I first get a new horse in, especially a young horse, especially a young stallion, is safety. So we've handled him a couple of days before we got on him, and I've spoken to the person who had ridden him before. So we start with a normal program of getting on and starting some walk, trot, and canter, getting to know him. My priorities for the young horse are rhythm and straightness, relaxation, and on the contact, not necessarily on the bit. He's not strong enough yet and does not understand enough about the connecting aids to become rounder over his back and travel through Melissa's body and go into the roundness of being on the bit. But what we do want to see is that he starts to understand the pieces of going on the bit. He goes forward from her leg, he flexes and bends slightly to the inside, he's regulated with his tempo with the outside rein, and eventually we'll put those pieces together and ask him to become on the bit. But at the moment, we're really interested in focus, in rhythm, in relaxation, and contact. And you'll see throughout the ride that he's unsteady in the contact. Sometimes he's a little higher, sometimes he's a little bit too deep, but we really want to get him to be a willing participant with our system. So once we know that he's safe and he stops and he goes and he steers, then I really like the young horses to do a little bit of work out in the field next to the arena. It really allows them to become more open in the stride and relaxed, and it gives us a lot of information about their work ethic, about their focus level, and then in and out of the ring so that the work stays and remains interesting to the young horse. You really want to make sure that they think that it's really a fun time, it's an educational time, it's an energy time for them to work their body, but you really need to mix it up a little bit. So lots of transitions in the ring, out of the ring, walking, taking a break, trotting, taking a break, canter if they're ready, take a break, back out into the field, so that they don't get into the early grind of doing our famous 20-meter circles over and over. You really want your horse to be able to be comfortable in many environments. So as you can see already from the beginning of the ride, Barcita is starting to reach toward Melissa's contact, and the basic principle for Melissa riding this horse right now is to make sure that she has equal aids and the equal amount of horse on both sides, which if you've ridden a baby you know is very difficult. They like to drift left, and when you close your left leg then they drift right. Just trying to make sure that she has an equal contact and equal leg pressure on both sides of the horse so that he begins to understand the channel of energy from back to front. We're not asking him to be rounder, we're not asking him to be bent all the time, we're not asking him to be engaged. We're asking him to be balanced and straight and forward and cooperative. So we can see he has a nice canter here. He's learning to keep his balance under her. If she feels like he's going to break, she should relax and scoop with her seat and add a little leg, as well as keeping the elbow and the hip mobile. The young horse is not strong enough to push through any great resistance in your back or in the contact. So you have to be very careful about how you apply your aids. Very straightforward. I like to tell my riders that the youngsters need to do 4 things and 4 things well. They need to go forward when you close your leg. They need to go left when you use the left rein. They need to go right when you use your right rein. And they need to slow down when you use both reins. And just keeping it very, very simple helps to start teaching the horse the alphabet and the language and the theory of dressage and riding the horse on the bit and on the contact. So I'm beginning to really like the shape now that Barcita is offering to Melissa. You can see he's nicely forward. He's mostly straight, and when he drifts a little left or right, you can see she'll make a small correction. But I really like from the beginning how now he's starting to elongate his top line a little bit more and trot forward, looking for the rein, looking for the contact. I'm not necessarily looking for roundness. Roundness might be a byproduct of trotting out to the contact, but you can see sometimes he's a little too round, his throat latch is closed, sometimes he's a little above the bit. We're going to call it above the contact since he doesn't understand on the bit yet. And sometimes he's in the perfect place. And when he's in a lovely place, you can see Melissa will give him a pat with her inside hand and make sure that the feeling of the rein is very inviting and encouraging there. He drops too low in the contact. So she'll soften the hand and close the leg and ask him to come back out to her. So she's gone back out into the field, and you can see that instead of dropping too far behind the contact out in the field, he's more encouraged to go forward. That's just the nature of the freedom of the bigger field and in and around the trees. And it's one of the reasons why I really like to go in and out of the ring with the youngsters. Really gives them the confidence and the safety of the rider, relying on the person. So Melissa feels like that was a nice effort, so she's going to walk and give him a little break and really make it fun for him. You really want your youngster to feel like they're very, very happy and they're a willing participant with what you're asking them to do. So you've got to make it enjoyable and fun for them and not just drill the tough stuff. So back to the trot. When she finds the balance that she likes, then the tone or tension or weight of the rein should relax slightly to reward him that is his safety zone. Now, she's not asking for him to be rounder or tucked with his chin or underneath with his hind legs. Her goal is straight and forward and that he rests in the contact, that she has equal feeling of both reins and both legs. And oftentimes with babies, you don't get equal contact. They don't understand equal contact. So it's a balance between opening one door. For example, if he drifts to the right, she can open the left rein and open the door for him to come to the left and close the right door so that he stops drifting to the right. So here we're finishing up with Barcita, and I hope that you've enjoyed the first video of his progress. We're going to be keeping you well informed.